Hi guys, Tugu here saying new video. And this video, we're gonna talk about the specs I have tried in PvP and the spec I decided to actually play most of the time. And it's probably not what you think, but it's probably what you think. So I've played literally all specs. Now, I for sure understand I don't have the gear for, like, let's say Boomkin to work properly. I don't have the gear to like Moonglow work properly. I most likely don't have the gear to make even Heart of the Wild work properly. But there is like one spec where I actually have the gear that is making sense, and the build is also making sense to me. And even in PvP, I have a fair shot versus most of the classes. But I'm going to talk first and foremost about the few specs where I found it not to be fun. So I am playing. No, wait, you know what? Let's talk about the positive first. I am playing the Deep Feral Druid. You could say even PvE gear, PvE PvE build for a Feral Druid, so you could literally go like this and still be fine. Now, obviously, if you're like a Feral DPS, you don't really need Feral Instincts. You actually don't need Brutal Impact as well. If you do PvE, you can actually go for 5 points into Feral Aggression, or maybe Thick Hide if you want to. Or like go for 5 of the 5 Feral Instinct to get more threat if you're going to bear form. But I decided to have like a mix where I don't really need the armor right now. I don't need the Ferocious Bite damage either, because we still don't have the book for it. So we still have like Ferocious Bite doing less damage than Rip. And I don't feel like having 15% extra damage on an ability that I rarely use even in PvE is going to help me like at all. But the reduction, like attack power reduction, is quite nice as well. But besides that, again, Omen of Clarity, bis like buff. To be fair, like this is like literally too good to pass up. I think it's really nice to have like shreds. You're doing like a pounce into double shred if you get like a proc, and then you can even power shift again and then do another shred, and most likely you have enough points to do Ferocious Bite or Rip and do your rotation or like run away. You have a lot of things that you can do if you do get a proc. This is like literally, if it procs, it is GG's for most mages, for most warlocks, even for most clothies, but also like druids and shamans that do have like a lot of cloth because of PvE. They do get a lot of damage as well because of that proc. What I really love about this build is also Natural Shapeshifter. You would think that losing Heart of the Wild, no, actually you have Heart of the Wild, so excuse me, but having Heart of the Wild and also Natural Shapeshifter gives you an insane mana pool, but also efficient and effective mana pool. For example, we have Heart of the Wild spec here. We don't have Natural Shapeshifter, and we do get like 4 points in Heart of the Wild. But the issue is the mana pool is as big, a bit less, because obviously you don't have like 5 of 5. But you also don't have a lot of effective mana, because you do lose a lot of mana by shapeshifting a lot into bear form, cat form, travel form, go back to caster form, go back to bear form. It actually is too costly, and you actually need, in my opinion, for this build to work properly, you need really big gear. And I would even say you need to drop completely the mindset of having agility or strength, and you have to have a big portion of intellect to make it work, because then you have enough mana to do a Moonfire, Insect Swarm, go back to bear form, do another like maybe entangling roots, or maybe you're going to go Nature's Grasp and then try to kite like that. It's more of a kiting build, Heart of the Wild, while this is literally a fighting build. I really fight in the trenches with the warriors, the rogues, and of course, if I'm facing a rogue or a warrior, if I go bear form, I auto win most of the time. If I have like the first engage, because I can like kite pretty well. I don't need to engage whenever I want to, whenever I need to, but I can do whenever I want to. So that's a thing that is really, really luxurious, I would say. So this is literally my preferred build right now. And you would say, but Togre, you don't need to do damage to win versus most people. And that's true. Druids, it's attrition. You want to win over time. Often you're going to the trenches with these specs. And often, because you have also self-heals, the mana, the shapeshift, you actually win versus a lot of classes. I might make like a dueling video very soon, if I like get the time to do proper PvP. AV is proper PvP, but like most people, they don't really engage with the PvP. They like auto walk like this, and they get like engaged, and they just like keep it like this. That's not really my style. I do sometimes go AFK here and there. Don't shoot me. But I think like whenever I do, it's because I have to multitask a lot of the time. So this is the preferred build for me. Heart of the Wild, weirdly enough, is my worst build. I detest it right now. And like I said, I think it's because of the build and the gear that I have. I don't think my gear is suited for this build. I play with 4 set right now. I will have 6 set, so this will be replaced. I don't want to buy like I could like farm the Unforgiven thingy, but I actually don't care because in raids I play with Wolf. Wolf has Helm. Maybe it will be worth it if I go like a tank bear form, but right now I'm fine with this. I will get the shoulders as well, so I will have 6 set, and most likely I might even say, look, F this as well, and go for the Devil's Sword gauntlets and leggings. But that itself has less AP total than going legs and hands, because it has strength, which is double the AP. So if you have 13 strength, it is 26. Even more because your cat form, you get 20% more strength. So obviously you have a lot more value at that as well. And then you have agility, which is also a one-to-one because of cat form, giving you increasing melee attack power by 120 plus agility. So it counts like agility is equal to 1 AP, pretty much. Like 1 agi is equal to 1 AP, and then strength is like equal. For example, you have strength with 2 strength is equal to also 20% increased strength. So you have 2.4 strength is equal to the AP. So all in all, I really enjoy Feral Druid played whenever you're going for strength and agi. There is a limitation though, like I said on the previous video, which I posted I think today or yesterday, depending on when I'm going to post this video. This is really a pure Feral Druid raid gear set. Like in PvP, often you want like a full all stats gear, which is ideal if you're going for ranking. I'll get rank 10 next week. I'll get rank 11. By the way, only 86 more to get rank 10 for Wednesday, which is perfect. I'll get like rank 10 gear, and then I will have, once a video is out, the 4th of April, I'll go for the rank 13 gear, which is very useful. Like every single piece is a straight upgrade, at least like for sure, like till AQ pretty much. Like you have a head giving you crit, another crit because you have 19 agility, you have also 20 strength, which is 40 AP, then 19 agility, which is another 19 AP, and then you have the 20% increase from strength. Like again, a lot of great stats, and that's for every single piece. I think the shoulders are like maybe the lesser interesting piece, but that you can maybe replace with some PDUL piece. But even then, 14 strength, it's times 2 again, time 0.2, like again, 20% increased strength, and then the AP. Then you have the agility as well. You have stamina, you have intellect, you have spirit, you have even increased damage and healing. Like all stats gear is always going to be great on Feral Druid. The same as Retribution Paladin actually wants that kind of stats, because if you don't have mana, the Retribution Paladin does nothing, like healing, no damage as well. If you don't have the stamina, you're not going to survive if you're bear form or if you're cat form or if you're in your caster form as well. If you don't have the strength, you're not going to have enough AP, and AP is equal to the weapon damage of cat form and bear form, which is translating towards your abilities, which is not perfect. It is not AP like Bloodthirst from Warriors, but it's still something you want to go for. And then you have agility, which is literally crit. Obviously, it's also defense for your it's like increased armor for your bear form, but also it has 1-to-1 ratio AP wise. So it's really, really good if you're cat form. It's really, really good. Like every single piece from that is like catching. And then you have the best pieces, literally, like your legs, 24 strength, 1 crit, 18 stamina, 18 agility. Like, you cannot get better from BWL either. Obviously, you will lack the hit, and that's the annoying part from that set. You have nothing that gives you hit, pretty much. And that is really annoying. But you get rid from, like, the annoying, like, spell crit from that, like, set. So at least you have useful pieces for Feral Druid. But obviously in raids, you will have to farm some big hit pieces, maybe a DFT, a Curia, whatever you can actually get to get the hit that you need. But in PvP, you only need 5%, right? So 5%, and you can actually do some great damage, great survivability, actually okay healing, and you still have like one of the greatest tier sets in the game, with literally your 3 set giving you a 60% mount on travel form, which is awesome. And when you're in cat form, you're actually pretty fast as well. So I do like that as well. So that's why I really like this build. Now, what about D Presto? I actually played D Presto as well. I like it, but like I said, I don't have the gear for it. And since I'm actually doing only PvP, raids, and that's it, I'm not really doing any dungeons right now. I might do it if my friends need dungeons. I will do dungeons with them. I go bear form, and I will just get a bit of healing gear here and there, and maybe a bit of balanced druid gear here and there. But my idea is, if I'm in EQ, like in phase 4, I'll get the caster gear I want to be able... Can I tank this? I think I can, but like I need heals. I don't think we have heals here. Fuck. I think I'm ruined. I'm going to... and then run away. I think overall... I forgot what I wanted to say. Overall, I think if you are thinking about like Deep Resto, that's cool. But you must know that like mana-wise, it really, really sucks. Like, you already know Moonglow build, so you will lose the reduction on mana cost, which is very precious, which is Moonglow here. This is like one of the best talents in the game. That's also one of the reasons where you could actually go some sort of a hybrid build in arenas in TBC as well. So you get Boomkin, like a Boomkin healing a Boomkin Restokin, actually that's the name, Restokin build. It's possible to do as well. But overall, obviously, you kind of need... I need to heal myself, or else I'm going to die. Overall, you still need like Moonglow to have like a decent mana. Now, if I don't get healed, I'm mostly dead. I hope he doesn't charge me. But so I tested it. I liked it. I liked the gameplay actually. I really like, especially in PvP. I really like it. In raids, no bueno. I tested healing in raids. I just generally just don't like it. I think the one thing I have and I hate about raiding as a resto druid is mostly getting sniped on heals. For some reason, people get boners out of that. Like, they see me casting healing touch. It is a long cast time, to not be vulgar. And people just throw flash heals because they can. And that's cool. But the issue is, I have only fast, like, longer cast times. If I want to do a fast cast time, it is regrowth. And it's not that fast. It's 2 seconds. It costs a shit ton of mana. The HOT is really barely noticeable. And overall, I don't like it. I see I have like only rank 7 regrowth for some reason on this build. But I'm actually like shooting my own foot. Anyways, that's good to know. Good to know that I was healing with subpar things. Here the same. But that's my issue with Restoration Druid in raids. I personally don't like it too much. And in PvP, I like it, but your mana really sucks. So you cannot really do too much. What I like is that if you're going deep resto, you can still have the bear form feral charge, which is the ideal, like if you're doing a 2v2 in AV, for example, or in Warsong Gulch, and you see a healer casting a long ass cast time, you can go bear form, interrupt it, and it's GG's most of the time, which I'd really like to play around that. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to when I'm fighting. Like cat form, I see a long cast time. I have a warrior friend here, like hitting this one, for example. Bear form, feral charge, because it is only 5 rage, and you get 10 rage from like the shape shifting, which is awesome. So I like that. That's the gameplay I really love to do. So I played Deep Resto. I like it. The mana is, but maybe with a bit more gear, it could be interesting. The only thing is, if you're going for ranking gear, it's not ideal. Like, the healing gear from ranking gear kind of sucks. Also, 2 times I raid as a druid, 3 times? 2 times, 3 times. I raid as a druid, no druid gear drops. I guess I am just like a black cat. I don't know, because whenever I'm going on my warrior, you only see druid tier pieces every single time. The same for Onyxia. Double tier 2 drops on Onyxia. I go on my druid, no tier drops, nothing. There's literally nothing dropping. Band of Akuria only drops whenever I'm on my warrior or my priest, but never on my druid. So, what the hell? Anyways, that was me ranting about that. I wanted to play Druid because of the easy gearing. At the end, I didn't even get any pieces. Okay. I do get a few pieces, so I have this one and this one, which is cool. The legs, tier 1 spoilers. I guess it is fine. And we do get risk loss of stability, which is bis for a long time for Feral Druid, so I'm okay with it. But I really need the Band of Akuria, I really need other tier pieces so I can actually go Resto Druid in PvP. But that aside, we have BWL soon, so I will be showered about like loot pretty much every single time. So I'm okay with that. But there is that. Now let's talk about another build. So I talked about Resto Druid, like Deep Resto. I talked about Deep Feral, which is my favorite. I talked about Heart of the Wild, which is my least favorite. I really don't like it because it's like you're good at everything, but you're also sucky at everything. While Deep Feral is very good at killing casters, except Warlocks with like Soul Link. They can jump very high and go splat at Lord Kazakh. I don't really care. But I will get like the Oni buff here on my warrior. I have a second account, so I'm going to directly Chrono Boon once it's out. Okay, it is Chrono Boon now. Perfect. So I talked about those 3 builds. Now let's talk about Deep Boomy, Deep Balance Rate, which is basically you have 35 points ish on the Balance Rate tree. I really do like to go 11 points into Feral Charge, so at least I have an interrupt, because I'm like also a retail player, right? I like to have interrupts on my characters because I don't like to see someone free casting and like literally watching him do his stuff and not being able to stop. That's one of the things I don't really like about, for example, Feral Druid, because you kind of need to run away and then Feral Charge, and often it is too close of a call that it actually just doesn't matter pretty much. But I like to do that as a boomkin, so I like that. And I would then go for the last points into Restoration, which is not a lot, but at least you get first, so you could actually like shapeshift into bear form into intercept, so into a Feral Charge. That's one of the builds. Or you could go 35 points into Balance Druid, and then you can go 15 points into Restoration Druid, or you can literally just say, look, I'm going to just take Insect Swarm and Reflection, and then the rest you go into Balance Druid, which is pretty much 37 points. You can do that as well. So you have multiple builds in that, and this is my second favorite. Do I say second favorite? I think it's my second favorite build for Druids. The issue is, like I said, my gear is not optimal for that yet. If ZG is coming out, you have multiple pieces that most people are going to pass up because you only have sweats on classic these days, I think, which is fine. I'm also a sweat. Like I try to do parses. I try to do my best on every single character, even if I'm a Shadow Priest, even if I'm a Feral Druid. I try to parse, even though it's insignificant if you're like comparing to a warrior, but I don't care. And I'll just like enjoy it. And I'm not flasking or whatever. I'm like not spending too much money either. Like it's literally just rend buff 40 gold. You can just do one stockade boost and you get it pretty much, which is fine. But what I like about it, like the best catch-up dungeon in my opinion, Zul'Gurub, which is the most fun to do as well. It's very quick, very chill. Most people are there for the mounts. Most people are there for the Jindo, not Jindo, the Hakar stuff. Like for example, you have the Heart of Hakar, which I find one of the best trinket in the game for Balance Druid, for example, but also Restoration Druid, which is Dandalarian Hero Charm. This is really like one of the best for me. Like if you just do a regrowth and a rejuve with this, it actually boosts up your heals pretty hard. And then you have your spell damage as well. You do 1 Starfire and you see like big crits of 2Ks, which again, I'm talking about 2019 whenever I'm saying that, because I was a Balance Druid in 2019. I really like that. Personally, this is like my favorite raid in Classic pretty much. I don't know if I already like told you guys what I like about like raids, but that might be a video for another day. Could be fun to talk about that as well. But like once Zul'Gurub is coming out, I'm going to be going tailoring regardless, I think, on this druid, because I feel like leatherworking is not going to help me much until TBC. TBC won the drums, so I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be me going to do that or not. I don't know, but I'm going to go tailoring because why not? And also it's easy money with Mooncloth, so why not? I just need to level it. So once I'm done, I'm actually done with the PvP right now, so I could do it maybe today or maybe Wednesday. Why not? I don't know. But this whole raid is like great, and people are like too focused on Agi whenever you're talking about Feral Druid, and you should not. For example, like this looks good, but it's actually just good for rogues and for hunters, because you actually want strength. If you could have like 20 strength, it would beat that 35 Agi. That's the thing, and it's a lot of like stats allocation on things that you kind of want, but you don't want that badly. But I think it's a heaven for a lot of the classes that want, for example, the hit. Jindo Judgment, Staff, 2% hit, perfect. Here, for example, Jindo Hexer, perfect for Restoration Druid, but also mostly for Holy Paladins, for example. This is also awesome. If you go for a one-hander with like this, at least you have hit on one item. You have here Jindo Evil Eye, for sure, something finally you can use to replace that stupid strat undead neck that you can have. Like all these things I really enjoy, and then you can go like step by step and look at the gear, and it is actually very awesome. Now the ZG tier pieces, maybe, why not? Like if you didn't do anything druid wise, why not? But it's in my opinion not that good. Like if you have time to do B2BL, you will most likely get better gear. And what I really like maybe is going for the 5 set to get the crit from Starfire, but you lose a lot of like those spell damage that you actually need for the consistent damage, because if you're like not critting, who cares about that 3% crit? But if you do crit, why not? But often than not, it's not the case. But like every single like boss has something interesting. For example, the Seal of Jinn, that is really nice for PvP at least. Huh? Sometimes you don't need the hit. This is actually good for PvP. It's also very good for catch-up gear if like you're playing a rogue or whatever. Why not? Because maybe you don't have a lot of luck in hit gear and you have to take anything. This is actually very good. And you see also the other one has hit. So you could replace the silly tarnished elven ring, so you don't need to buy anyone to get that stupid ring again. This is really good because it gives you also stamina, and it also gives you the hit, and you have a 2 set, why not, 30 AP. That's something, again, if you're like thinking about Druid in phase 4, why not? But anyways, like I'm diverging, I'm digressing. We're talking about Balance Druid. I like Balance Druid because actually, in AV especially, You have time to cast like Rafts, Starfires, Moonfire. If you go Insect Swarm, why not? The issue is with Insect Swarm, you cannot cast it while Moonkin. So for me, it's like, is it really useful to go Insect Swarm? Like, it's not going to add you too much damage. It also has shit modifiers as well. And whenever I'm talking about modifiers, I'm talking about spell damage modifiers. It's not that great. So that's my stance. That's why I prefer like 35 points into Balance Druid, 15 points into, like 13 points into Feral Combat, so you get like Feral Charge, and maybe Feline Swiftness, why not? Or else you just take it away and you go for the Fufurer and maybe Improved Range Rage or something like that. You can always do that whenever you want to. That's why I prefer that, because at least if I'm going Bear form, I'm not expecting... if I'm doing Feral Charge, I'm not expecting to stay in Moonkin, while from past experience, I prefer to be Moonkin whenever I'm doing Insect Swarm, like in TBC. But that's my opinion. Again, that's my second preferred build. And once I'm phase 4, I'll get the gear. I already have the Feral Druid gear by then, because I will be rank 13 most likely. If nothing happens, if nothing surprisingly happens, I'll be rank 13. So why not? Obviously. I will be having like the DCG gear, I will be having the tailoring gear, etc, etc. Now, we have a third build, which is my third best build, I would say. So if I have to rank up, look at me. Deep Feral. I think it's one of the most fun experience you can have, especially in phase 2, phase 3 maybe, phase 4, phase 5, phase 6, you know, the scaling is... but you're here right now. Then you have the Moonkin, which is... it seems like a meme in PvE, but in PvP, you have armor, by the way. Like, this is really awesome. Like, 360% armor contribution. If you're thinking about it, Dire Bear form has the same. It is 360% armor contribution. It is literally the same, except you don't have the health increase. That's annoying, but you are a tank whenever you're going to Moonkin form. You could actually tank as a Moonkin form if you want to. Your threat is probably going to be sucky, but you can actually tank as a Moonkin form if you want to, and you can especially tank rogues, and you can especially tank warriors, especially if you're going to bark skin yourself. Like, literally, you are unkillable at that point. I really enjoy it. So that it's my second one. I really enjoy it. The third one would be Moonglow. It's kind of it's flavorful, but also flavorless, because you have 30 points into Balance Druid pretty much. You have 21 points into Resto Druid. If you are more leaning to the healing, like if you're also doing raids, you could also drop a few points from the, like Moon Fury. You can also say, look, I don't want Moon Fury, I don't need Moon Fury. You can say, okay, I'm going to put a bit of improved regrowth, and that is pretty much the regrowth build for the tier 2 BWL, because you will have tier 2, you have a tier set which is literally revolving around, where is BWL, by the way? It's a tier revolving around regrowth pretty much. You have more mana regen, like the tier 3 set is really awesome. You have reduced cast time for regrowth, which is going to feel way better. It will be feeling like retail pretty much cast time wise, and you also have a duration increase on rejuve, which, like I said, is also more healing, but it's not that great. Like, HOTS are really sucky in Classic. It is what it is. In TBC it becomes better, but in Classic, it's not that good. And stamina wise, it is on the lower end compared to tier 1, so you can see it as more of a healing gear. Anyways, that's for raids pretty much. But that aside, if we talk about like literally PvP, normally it is 30-0-21. If you're thinking about like also doing some raids with it, why not? And you don't want to have like 3 specs and respec every single time, and you have dual spec, go for 25 on Balance Rate, maybe 24 on Balance Rate. Actually, you do really only need Moonglow, so you will need Nature's Grace plus Moonglow, and that's it. You could have a bit more points here and there depending on what you want, and then you can have all the other points into improved regrowth or maybe gift of nature or whatever. You have options, right? You don't need to have 5 out of 5 improved regrowth because again, it doesn't actually matter too much. You are going to be sniped anyways on raids, like by holy plants that are pressing flash of lights every single time. Yeah, flash of light, flash shield, who cares? They are going to snipe you anyways, but if you want to have the crit, 3 points, 2 points, this might be enough, especially with world buffs, especially with your gear. You're most likely are going to overshoot it with a total of 60% crit, so it should be fine if you do a regrowth. And that's it. That's another build that you can go for. That's number 3. All right, number four. Like again, it's a long video, but I wanted to talk about Druid. That has been a long time. Why not? Number 4 is my Deep Resto build. I think Deep Resto build is quite fun. It's also known to be a good flag carrying build because you have the Gracious Nature's Shapeshifter. Often you have only 2 points into it. You can also get 3 points maybe if you're like very greedy with it. Why not? And this is like literally making your life way better. You have your 13 points into a feral because you want to have feral and swiftness. You want to have feral charge. You could also say, look, maybe cast form, I don't really care. Why not? Then you go just feral charge and the rest into resto druid or in the rest in balance druid. But often that's the build. And then you have the red, normally 31 points into restoration druid, maybe 32, depends on what you want from the restoration druid tree. That's the build for flag carrying. It's the build also for healing as well. If you want to heal in raids, it's also quite good. Except feral charge, it's not that good, but whatever. You're not losing too much out of that. And it's also very good for flag carrying as well. Did I say that already? And also raid healing. Like if you're doing rejuves and you're doing regrowths, you have a bit of everything, and then you have your Swiftman to try to not get sniped on that little 1000 healing you get from regrowth and rejuve. Anyways, it gets better in TBC. It will get better in TBC, but right now, healing wise, it is kind of boring raids, but in PvP, very fun, and flag carrying, very fun. And my least favorite build, like I said, it is Heart of the Wild. I think Heart of the Wild is very boring, very vanilla, to say the least. You are good, if you watch my camera, good in everything, but also bad at everything because you literally are bad at everything. Your mana is deceptive because you have way less mana available by doing shapeshifting, which kind of sucks. You also don't have 5 out of 5 improved Nature's Grasp, so it's not really sure that you're going to be able to Nature's Grasp every single time. And your healing is subpar because you don't have anything that is actually improving your healing except improved healing touch and Nature's Focus. And then you have Reflection, which is really not really mattering too much in PvP because you're not always be casting like in raids. And then you have Insect Swarm, which is okay damage, but literally what you're doing as a Heart of the Wild build is pouncing, rake, rip, Moonfire, Insect Swarm, Nature's Grasp, Runaway Travel Form, and then rinse and repeat, maybe a Wrath here, Starfire here if you have time, and maybe go back to Bear Form and tank the hits. But it's not actually good at everything. You are a good dueler though, but again, your mana is deceptive, which I find as Deep Feral, I have way more mana available. I heal maybe less, or it's less interesting for me to heal because I don't have Nature's Swiftness. But it gives me more damage, gives me more survivability as well, gives me more shape-shifting abilities. Omen of Clarity is literally an I win button versus a few classes. Like if I get like this versus a rogue, for example, I can double maul pretty fast, pretty easily as well. Or I can just shapeshift into a regrowth, which is a free regrowth, which can help me to survive the damage as well. Personally, I really like the gameplay. So that's pretty much my top 5. That's pretty much talking about every single build, what you can expect from them. Personally, you can Moonkin form already in phase 2 if you have the gear, but I find the gear to be not that great compared to CG gear. So in CG, you can actually do that. The HPs are going to be a bit higher, but your damage is going to be also a bit higher. Being able to do 2k Starfires is going to be possible. While here, if you get a 2k Starfire, it will be a rare occurrence. Or if you have like full toe-up gear, whatever, you can actually do that. But again, that's like, that's for the people that are like super geared. They don't really care about my advice right now about Moonkins. But again, thank you for watching. Have a great day, guys. I love Druid. I'm actually enjoying it. Am I going to raid a lot as a Druid? I don't know, because again, I don't need too much gear for MC, even from BWL. I don't need too much gear as well. It's my alt, so I'm not committed to any guild right now. I am committed to my guild as a warrior, but not as a Druid. So anyways, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.